Okay, so I downloaded this game, The Winter Wedding, and I'm slightly regretting it because what is an omega, alpha, or beta? Okay, what is ruts? Oh, I'm scared. Okay, guys. Let's full screen it. I will say this is kind of hard to read, but it's okay. Okay. This is called The Winter Wedding. Um, it just looked cool. Like, look at this. Tell me it doesn't look cool. Okay, I'm a little scared because I'm like, what is alpha? I'm like, whatever. Like, I never got into the werewolf mating, like, crap ever. So this is gonna be very interesting. Okay. We're gonna experience it together. So this is the game. We're playing the demo because I don't know if I actually like it, but I don't know if the whole game's out. So, which body will we play? Will be her. Who is he though? Her. We look cool. Okay, we're gonna go by Ken's. Honestly, yeah, Kenzie. 10 days left until your wedding. Winter. Okay, turn this down a little bit. Not exactly your favorite season, though you've always found it soothing to watch snowflakes fall and evaporate against the warmed glass of the window. You were never one of those children eager to rush outside for snowball fights or to build snowmen. So when your nanny said your overprotective parents wouldn't allow it because of your frail health, you didn't feel particularly disappointed. Now there's no one left to enforce such rules. Oh, our parents are dead. That's like the beginning of every story. But it's okay. It can be good, okay? And that's one of the reasons Winter is so sorrowful for you. Goodness, y'all bear with me. I can't even speak today. I'm eating a mini taco really quick. ASMR. Okay. Sorry, I haven't really ate today. That's okay. Your father was never much interested in winter sports, but you know he couldn't resist your mother's persistence. That persistence ultimately cost their lives when the ice-frozen lake suddenly gave way beneath them while they skated. By the time they were pulled from the water, it was too late for anything to be done. As you touch their gravestones, even though through your gloves, you can feel the freezing cold of the marble. It's already been 5 years since you lost them. Mother, father, I miss you so much. Oh, if only there were a way to stop that accident and turn back time. That's impossible. Anyway, I brought you some beautiful flowers. You carefully place the white lilies on the grave, speckled here and there with patches of snow. The harsh snowflakes sting your face, threatening to bury the flowers completely under the white blanket before long. Feeling the need to leave soon, you cast one glance at the grave. In the blink of an eye, the white lilies are no longer white, but soaked in vivid crimson blood, seeping from the grave itself. Oh! What? Your heartbeat quickens, and your breath forms a white mist that clouds your vision. Even so, the red is so intense that it overwhelms you. Your head is spinning, knees buckling. Just as you're about to collapse, a strong arm catches you by the shoulder. Whoever is about to catch us is the person that probably did that. Turning your gaze, you find Tristan standing beside you. Who's Tristan? Ooh, I want him bad. Okay. Your butler. Our butler? Quit playing. How do you get anything done? Yes, you don't need to. Because he's your butler, you know? His attentive eyes shift between you and the grave as though trying to discern the source of your distress. There's no trace of alarm or confusion in his demeanor. Do you not see the blood everywhere, or are we hallucinating? Hallucinating! Frantically, you glance back at the grave. The lilies are as white as where you left them. No trace of blood remains. Are you all right, my lady? Is there something the matter? I'm fine, Tristan. Just a little dizzy, that's all. Okay, so I guess we're hallucinating. So then, a fleeting hallucination. You can't say it's the first time. You never fully recovered since losing your family. You must have been affected by the cold. For a moment, you can't help but to feel uneasy at the way his gaze sharpens, as if he's aware of what you're thinking. Now is certainly not the time to meet with another new doctor who promises to cure you with their sedatives. Thankfully, the familiar sadness in his voice soon puts you at ease. Shall we head back to the carriage, my lady? Please hold on to me tightly. Okay, you don't gotta ask me twice. With Tristan's help, you make your way out of the eerily silent cemetery and to the carriage waiting for you. We're returning to the manor. The roads may be icy. Drive carefully. The coachman nods quickly and takes a seat. Everyone seems eager to leave this place. Everyone except you. Your attention is momentarily distracted by the stark white of the gloves covering Tristan's outstretched hand as he helps you into the carriage. White lilies were your mother's favorite. You recall how she'd always pick up the most beautiful one from every bouquet and tuck it into your hair with a smile. Whoa. My game is like crashing. No. Okay. I'm losing my freaking mind. It's okay. You recall how she'd always pick the most beautiful one from every bouquet and tuck it into your hair with a smile. But after that hallucination, perhaps it's best to choose a different flower for your wedding bouquet. Wedding? We're getting married? Is it to him? Or is it that other guy in like the preview? You don't want to falter at the altar. Okay, Rhymes. And embarrass yourself in front of everybody. Milady, if you could hurry. I think I dropped my handkerchief at the grave. Feigning an flustered expression, you press your hand against your bag. The handkerchief is right there. If we leave a message with the caretaker, it should reach the manor within a few days. Oh, but it was a gift from Oscar. Girl, you just don't want to go. You notice a momentary pause in Tristan's expression, unaccustomed as he is to hearing you mention your fiance's name so openly. Okay, our fiance's name is Oscar. I'll fetch it immediately, my lady. Please wait in the car. No, let's go together. I'd like to see my parents one last time. Tristan's questioning gaze meets yours, but you'd rather seem sentimental than paranoid. Given the thoughtful and caring attitude your parents have always shown towards you, you are certain no one could find you unjust. You know Tristan, known for his calm demeanor and logical approach, isn't exactly pleased with your request. That's okay, he doesn't have to be pleased. But refusing you isn't an option. Period. As my lady wishes, if you'll excuse me. Without waiting for reply, he adjusts the loosened collar of your coat with practical air. Unlike you or the coachman, he seems completely unaffected by the cold. Okay, what are you, a snowman? He kind of looks like a werewolf. Look at his eyeballs. In moments like these, you can't help but wonder if he truly is. Once he's finished, Tristan turns to the coachman. Keep the horses ready. The coachman's silent nod betrays his discontent. But whatever the case, you're certain he'd rather be anywhere than in Tristan's place. The sudden violent gust of wind forces you to cling tightly to Tristan. Okay. Thank you, weather. Relying on his strength and warmth as much as you can. When you reach the family's grave, nothing appears out of the ordinary at first glance. We must move quickly, my lady. The weather is getting worse. You know he's more concerned about you than himself. You can't help but silently berate yourself for your impulsive decision. Perhaps it's really time to meet with the new doctor. The handkerchief isn't here. Let's go back. Wait a moment. Tristan, what's this flower? Amidst the bouquet of white lilies left on the grave so easily scattered by the wind, one vibrant red flower stands out. As he pulls it free, Tristan's eyes narrow slightly. It appears to be a crimson lily, my lady. Okay, but why is it here? The hallucination you saw earlier flashes wildly in your mind, sending a shiver down your spine. But what is it doing here? Yeah, what is it doing there? It was mixed in by mistake when the bouquet was prepared, my lady. You reach for the crimson lily in hand and examine it closely. It's identical to the white lilies you selected for your family, except for its color. Oh no, I remember the bouquet perfectly. This isn't possible. I agree with her. It was all white. Why would she grab one random red flower? And how would she not notice it? I feel like y'all are gaslighting me. In that case, perhaps it was blown here from the wind from another grave. Look, all the flowers on the other grave over there are red. Curiosity and determination compel you to rise to your tippy toes trying to see the grave that Tristan's pointing out. Indeed, on the snowy hill there are red specks. But you're not convinced, as Tristan, that they're the same flower, or even flowers at all. Ooh, what do we think it is? Blurred? Is it blowed? At that moment, your careless stance catches up with you, and your foot slips. In a desperate attempt to keep from falling, you grab onto Tristan's coat. For the first time, you manage to catch him off guard. His typically rigid posture wavers, and he leans towards you. Ha ha! He's in love with me. He's in love with me. You find his face suddenly startlingly close to yours. Ha ha ha! He wants to kiss me real bad. He want to kiss me real bad. He obsessed with us. Though his lips remain perfectly composed, his golden eyes flicker with an unusual, unreadable glimmer. I know what that glimmer means. If it's important to you, my lady, I can inspect every grave here one by one. Your entire body heats up with mortification, enough to make you momentarily forget the cold. With his help, you manage to regain your balance once more. Should we check it? I kind of want to check it, but I feel like we may die in like the snow, but we're going to go check it. Not every grave. You know this is sheer foolishness, yet you press on. I want to check that grave. Tristan's hesitant gaze shifts between you and the hill. My lady, if you'll allow it, I'll check that grave myself. There's no need for you to trouble yourself in this weather. I need to see it with my own eyes. Stubbornness isn't a trait you're usually known for, yet the firmness in your voice leaves Tristan with little choice. Please, my lady, stay as close to me as possible. The ground might be icy. Nodding quickly to brush off concerns, your thoughts are consumed by one thing, the origin of the crimson lily. Perhaps that's why, even though you haven't gone far, you fail to notice the freshly snow-covered pit in front of you. Happens in a fleeting moment, right after you let go of Tristan's arm and adjust your coat. Okay, girl, you probably visit your parents' grave all the time. How do you not remember there's like a huge person-eating pit? I just don't understand. As soon as you step forward, the dry grass barely covers the pit, crackles under your weight, and gives way in the blink of an eye. You find yourself in the cold pit. A place too narrow for a grave makes it impossible for you to get out on your own. Fortunately, it doesn't take long for Tristan to rush to your aid and pull you out. However, as you hurry back home in the carriage, the numbing effect of the cold begins to wear off, and the pain in your leg intensifies to a level you can no longer ignore. Crap, we're injured. I injured her. Oh, great. The doctor, hastily summoned to the manor, informs you that your condition is worse than you thought. There's no choice but to postpone the wedding. Unlike your fiancé and his family, who rushed to the mansion upon hearing this bad news, you can't say this little accident has made you particularly unhappy. So do we not like our fiancé? Or do we not like his family? Or do we just not want to leave the mansion? Like, what's the vibes? What's our vibes? After a while, the entire household and your fiancé dote on you, eagerly awaiting your recovery. You now have the perfect excuse to spend the snowy winter days confined to your bed. Period. If only it weren't for the pain. Oh! Already messed it up. Okay, let's try again. Okay, we're just gonna skip to the part where we need to go. For a fleeting moment, his eyes seemed to darken. Oh, so he doesn't like Oscar. But it's gone almost as soon as it appears. Based on the impression you've gathered during Oscar's rare visits to the mansion, you're aware of the obvious tension between your butler and your fiancé. That's why this sudden change doesn't surprise you. You know Tristan, known for his calm demeanor and logical approach, isn't exactly pleased with your request, but refusing you isn't an option. Okay, we go. We see the red lily. We don't need to check it this time because we'll get our wedding postponed. So, no, it's not important. You've been foolish. There's no way you could truly believe the white lilies you left behind have changed color. As you take Tristan's offered arm, you feel something new, embarrassment mixed with unease. These feelings stay with you until you sit onto the carriage waiting for the entrance of the cemetery. The warmth of enclosed space offers you only slight comfort, especially with Tristan sitting directly across from you. His presence is a constant, his sharp eyes ever watchful. He's in love with us, don't play. You're aware that this situation, traveling alone with the servant, is hardly appropriate for someone like you. But since Tristan's arrival, he's been far from an ordinary butler, to the other staff and to you. You haven't been sleeping well, my lady. If there's anything besides the upcoming wedding troubling you, please don't hesitate to tell me. Your expression hardens reflexively. Oh, Daisy told you this, didn't she? Daisy, your maid, listens to him more than she listens to you, much to your ongoing frustration. I'll dismiss her as soon as we return to the manor. For the first time in what feels like forever, a faint smile crosses Tristan's face. As you wish, my lady. Period. She should be okay. Like, if we're rich and I assume we're like a little princess or something, I don't know. And you hire people and then they don't even listen to you, I would low-key fire them too. Like, why are you telling my business? You're supposed to be confidential. Confidential. As you wish, my lady. I'll make sure a replacement with necessary qualities is arranged promptly. That's precisely the problem. You doubt any new maid, no matter how reserved, would defy him. Tristan is too commanding for a servant, and you far too compliant for a master. Still, his flawless management of the estate over the past 5 years has left no room for complaint, even from you. The sound of hooves crunching through the snow fills the silence. Wolves. Milady? You asked what was keeping me awake at night. Tristan narrows his eyes slightly. Okay, so he's a wolf. He's definitely a werewolf. Look at them eyes. Are we? I feel like she could be too. Ah, I see. The house from the forest near the manor, perhaps. It feels like they're howling louder than ever these nights. I'll arrange for hunters from a nearby village to deal with it, milady. You needn't concern yourself. Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's truly all that keeps you up. Your voice rises unintentionally. What do you mean by that, Tristan? What do you mean by that, Tristan? What's the prob? Perhaps you should consider postponing the wedding, milady. I only suggest this because winters are particularly hard on your health. Forgive me if I've overstepped. Nah, you want me to cancel my wedding so I'll get married to you and you can break us apart. That's what I'm hearing. Your brows knit together in irritation, yet you can't immediately find the words to refute him. Oscar is a noble alpha. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't. I'm not talking alpha omega. I just can't physically do it for my brain. And you're a noble. Marrying Oscar isn't about love, it's an obligation, like every other inexplicable, unshakable duty in your world. Oh! You know, neither you nor your fiance truly has a say in this. Postponing the wedding will only temporarily mask the reality. Still, you sense that Tristan's words might be hinting at your passiveness in the situation. Thank you for thanking me, Tristan, but I'm well enough. Everything should proceed as planned. The decision is mine to make. I'll let it slide this time, but I don't want you bringing it up again. Ooh, so are we going to be sassy or are we going to be polite? I'm a sassy person, but I feel like I wouldn't even say that. It's kind of snappy. I do want him to bring it up again, so we will do. Thank you, Tristan, for thinking of me. Since you avert your gaze, you can't quite make out the expression on Tristan's face. However, the unusually soft tone in his voice proves that he's only thinking of you as a good steward would. No, he's not. He's thinking of you as his Pookie Bear. Shh. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. As you wish, my lady. Everything will proceed as it should. As time passes, you hear the eerie creak of the wrought iron gates surrounding the estate's grounds. The sound signals you the end of your journey. Okay, where you're going to save, because I didn't do that last time. Return. Okay. Descending from the carriage, you clutch your bag tightly. Hidden beneath your handkerchief lies a crimson lily you found at the grave. The dark silhouette of the manor greets you with all its gloom in the middle of the white landscape. I think it's gorgeous. I want to live in a freaking castle. Even though this has disturbed you since childhood, you cannot deny over the years it has unintentionally bound you to this place. When your fiance expressed his desire to live here after your marriage, enjoying the manor's atmosphere, it was one of the few decisions you made together. Due to its age and size, the manor has never been adequately warm or well lit. Still, you step inside. The familiar sense of comfort and security relaxes you. Your maid Daisy hurries over with quick steps to help you out of your thick outerwear. She looks at you with a warm expression, as if seeking forgiveness for some unspoken guilt. Girly pop, you're making it impossible for me to like you. Okay, it's my headphones is the reason this is so loud. I was like, why is this so loud? She looks at you with a warm expression, as if seeking forgiveness for some unspoken guilt. What did you do? Shall I prepare your bath? You decide to set aside the topic of a new maid for now. Yes, please. Off we go. What does she look like? Is she cutie pie? Is she not a cutie pie? I just want to know. I promise this is my last mini taco. No more taco breaks. It is freezing in my room right now. Goodness gracious. As you climb over the stairs, you overhear Tristan giving her instructions. Make sure the bath is properly heated. Also bring chamomile tea with honey and lemon. Without a single protest, Daisy bows to him in a manner that she is clearly accustomed to, and a flicker of rebellion ignites within you. Girl, you like him. However, it extinguishes as soon as you step into the corridor at the top of the stairs and head to your room. You are too tired to challenge the established order in the manor. It's fatigue that has been intensifying in the recent days, robbing you of restful sleep. It feels as if every step you take tightens invisible chains, weighing you down, forcing you to stop. You try to tell yourself this is just wedding stress. At least you don't have more reasonable explanation for it. Not yet. The oppressive silence of the manor, filled only with the sound of crackling firewood and distant footsteps, is suddenly interrupted by the creak of a door. Ooh, I have a feeling I know who it is. We all know who it is. Yep. Oh, not who I thought so. Your eyes quickly find your maid, who has appeared at the entrance. The bath is ready, my lady. Thank you. I'm coming. We're so fancy. As you step into the bathroom, the stifling heat envelops you. It's much warmer and more humid than usual. Steam rises from the water in the tub, filling the room with a pale glow and fogging the windows at the top of the bathroom. How's the temperature, my lady? You ask her to open a window, but the warmth quickly surrounds you, spreading to every corner of your body. It's fine. I'm glad. Butler mentioned you stayed outside for quite some time. This will do you some good. With Daisy's help, you manage to easily slip out of your clothes. In a short time, the pile of fabric forms at your feet, and you can feel the heat directly on your bare skin. Since it's still light outside, I don't think you'll need many candles. Daisy lights a few candles and then turns together the pile of clothes. Would you like me to assist you while you bathe, my lady? Naked and vulnerable, you suppress the chill that rises within you and move towards the tub. No need, Daisy. Thank you. Don't forget to drink your tea. The closing door echoes in the room as Daisy departs. Slowly lowering your body into the warm water, you sink entirely into the tub. At that moment, the pleasant and refreshing aroma from the sides of the tub catches your attention. We're gonna see. Because why do I feel like the tea is drugged? But we're gonna drink it. What if we don't drink it? I'm like, is it really drugged? Is it not drugged? What's going on? Don't drink it. Since you weren't the one who requested this tea to be prepared in the first place, you ignore the steaming cup. You can't allow Tristan control you like the others. The warmth of the water in the tub soon relaxes all your muscles, wrapping your body in sweet lethargy. Sleep envelops you, inevitably and pleasantly closing your eyes. Girl, we're gonna drown! When you open your eyes again, you have no recollection of how long you've drifted off. Judging by the lukewarm water in the tub, it couldn't have been too long. You sit up and reach for a nearby towel to dry off and slip into your robe before leaving the bathroom. As you walk through the corridor to your room, you notice something peculiar in the silence that surrounds you. A sound somewhere between a growl and a rumble reminds you both of an animal breathing and a machine operating. Girl, why are you going to look for it? If I heard something like that, I would lock myself in my room and hide. Or I'd get the heck out of there. But since there's a blizzard, that's not really an option. I would arm myself and lock myself up. Curiosity sparks as you head to the end of the hallway where the growling noise becomes noticeably louder. You try to guess where in the manor this sound could be coming from. Descending the stairs, you notice that no one seems to be around. Where is everyone? Daisy? The mansion is enveloped in a terrifying sense of abandonment, save for you and the sound of your footsteps echoing through the hall. The wheezing noises seem to concentrate near the staircase leading down to the basement. You've never ventured into the underground cellars before. You've heard from Daisy that it's filled with rats and a multitude of forgotten items. You also know that Tristan, unlike the previous butler, had an interest in new machines to make work easier, though many of them ended up broken and left to rust down there. The staff must be down there now, tending to a new machine under Tristan's orders. Just as you're about to head back to your room, sudden curiosity takes hold of you. You slowly descend the mansion's ancient stairs. I'm afraid we're gonna die. I'm so afraid we're gonna die. The dim light makes it hard to see, but you eventually reach a damp, cold space at the bottom. The wheezing grows louder, transforming into a hum that reverberates through the walls. You're no longer sure if the source of this noise is a machine. Is anyone there? Tristan? The shadows around you seem to multiply, but there is no response. Girl, get out of there! I'm scared! Your heartbeat quickens, your breathing turns ragged, and you decide to abandon this unpleasant curiosity. But it's too late. One of the shadows moves, lunging towards you, but your instincts kick in, and you manage to dodge it. That is, until your foot catches on something on the ground. Great. The classic trip. Your fall and the sharp blow to your head happen in an instant. Before your vision fades, one thing becomes clear. The shadows, they're not human. Okay, we died. Okay. So we need to drink this to survive. I feel like I keep making the wrong choices. Goodness. Despite the tart taste filling your mouth with the first sip, you keep drinking. Guys, they drugged our tea. They drugged our tea while we're in the bath. I feel like that's dangerous. You're amazed at how well Tristan seems to know exactly what you need. Soon, an odd sense of joy fills your mind. It feels as all the invisible chains that weighed you down have snapped one by one. The approaching wedding, the exhaustion of recent events, the wolves howling through the night, the crimson lilies in the cemetery, and now the snow-white winter. All of it fades into distant memories in your mind. Your entire body is enveloped in sweet lethargy. Is that how you pronounce that? Lethargy? Sleep closes your eyes with a pleasant inevitability. Why are you guys letting me fall asleep in the bath? I could die. I better wake up in my bed. You taste peace. When you open your eyes again, you find yourself still in the bathroom. I could have drowned. Servants, where are you? Daisy? Question mark, question mark. But you can sense something strange before you see it. At first glance, the only noticeable difference is the absence of daylight flickering through the windows above, replaced by shadows cast by the extinguished candles Daisy had lit. You likely dozed off in the tub. The air is so stifling that it's hard to gauge how much time has passed. But you feel the sharp clarity and freshness that comes after an untimely, prolonged rest. Just as you're about to sit up and leave the tub, your gaze falls on a dark silhouette by the edge of the tub. It doesn't take long to realize that shadow is actually a large face with a wide, toothy grin leaning against your bathtub. Okay, I think it's a wolf because of the outline, but I didn't think that the first time. I was like, we are going to get killed. Again. Fear courses through your veins, pumping adrenaline into every corner of your body. Oh, it's a puppy. The reverberations of the voice against the walls is unsettling, yet oddly it comforts you. Extending your hand out of the tub, you begin stroking the uninvited guest who had been watching you inappropriately. I mean, that's true. The creature responds with a quick, noisy breath from its nose, expressing delight. What are you doing here, Snow? Snow is one of the few things you love about the winter. A few years ago, during an incredibly harsh winter, you followed faint, pitiful whimpers outside the manor and found Snow buried in a snow-filled pit on the verge of freezing. Back then, his wet, sparse fur was barely distinguishable from the snow, and now it has grown thick and glossy. As you run your fingers through his fur, you realize your hand's wet. You pull your hand back. You're soaking wet, Snow. Have you been rolling around in the snow again while I was gone? This discovery dampens your mood, and you can't help but grumble. How could they let you outside? You can't even count how many times Snow has slipped out to the forest without anyone noticing. If there's one thing you remember clearly, it's warning everyone in the manor about this repeatedly. Despite his silence, Snow's large eyes remain fixed on you. Why do I feel like Snow isn't Snow and Snow is our butler? I'm just saying, our butler's hair is white. This dog is apparently white, even though we can't see it, but apparently it's white. So, hmm. Despite his silence, Snow's large eyes remain fixed on you. Don't look at me that way, Snow. The wild wolves in the forest could tear you apart. As you move your hand away from the tub's edge, you notice the trail it leaves behind. Thick, dark droplets slowly distort the handprint, and you realize the substance coating Snow's fur isn't melted snow. Your anger quickly gives to another emotion. Snow, I can't believe this. What happened to you? An enigmatic expression dominates Snow's shadowed face, devoid of pain. Your gaze instinctively shifts from him to yourself. That's when you realize the truth. The marks didn't come from Snow. They came from you. What? You've been sitting in this tub filled with blood. Quit. You're lying to me. No, this is another hallucination because I cannot do this crap. I cannot do this crap. We are not sitting in a tub of blood. There's just no way. Your scream is filled more with shock than fear. No matter how many times you open and close your eyes, the reality before you doesn't change. This can't be. How could so much blood come from me? You're absolutely certain you don't feel any pain. I'm not injured. You need to get out of this tub immediately. Despite the clarity of your mind, your body refuses to move, frozen like a corpse. And that is the final blow to your control. Help! Daisy! Snow's sharp teeth suddenly clamp down on your bare arm, igniting a new wave of panic. No, Snow, stop, please! Instead of pain or burning, you feel only the pressure of Snow's powerful jaws tighten around your arm. With surprising strength, he manages to drag you out of the tub. Snow, let me go. If you want to help, go outside and get someone. No matter what you say, you can't stop him. Liquid from the tub spills onto the floor as you're pulled out, and you can feel the sticky blood adhering your body to the ground like glue. Crying, screaming, you have no other option. Please, someone come here. Is anyone there? Snow nudges you a few times with his paws before abandoning his efforts. He circles around you in strange patterns, letting out a low, agonized whine. The stiffness and coldness enveloping your body, the bloody-filled bath, your unheard cries, and Snow's pained howls ignite one singular thought in your mind. As if trying to escape this reality, you let out one final desperate cry. Tristan! She keeps yelling. Your voice is cut off abruptly. Girlie, we're naked! I know you can't tell that we're naked, but we're naked! We just got pulled out of the bathtub! You have no means left to call for help. At the same moment, Snow gives up his futile struggle and collapses onto the ground hopelessly. In the ensuing silence, you see the shadows in the bathroom multiply. Cold, darkness, silence. Girlie, those are people. How are you not freaking out? Those aren't shadows. Those are freaking people. It feels like the beginning of an eternal sleep. However, everything changes in an instant. The sound of hurried footsteps echoing through the mansion fills your ears. Your heart and senses come back to life as footsteps rapidly approach the door and it suddenly creaks open with a terrifying screech. My lady, it's me! A shadow grows larger before your eyes, obscuring your vision. As you wait in silent anticipation, the softness of a towel wrapping your damp skin reaches you. Immediately after, strong arms lift you effortlessly off the ground. So you're saying I'm skinny? To see. Girl, we're still naked. Everything is fine. I'm here, my lady. Don't be afraid. Though it sounds like a command, his words swiftly slip into your mind, silencing the uncontrollable orchestra of fear inside. Suddenly, you realize the weight of the breaths. Breaths? Breaths. The breaths you're taking. As the stiffness in your body quickly dissolves, an involuntary ache spreads through your muscle. A warm shiver runs down your spine from head to toe. Okay, Daisy's in here too. Oh, I say, and then she immediately speaks. What happened here? It's freezing. My lady, are you all right? The light from the doorway stings your eyes. Even so, you can make out Daisy standing at the door with a lamp in hand, scanning the room in astonishment. The bathtub. Weak sounds escape your parted lips. Hearing you, Tristan turns his gaze to Daisy. Check the bathtub. You see Daisy hesitantly pointing her lamp towards the tub without understanding of what's going on. Oh, all the water spilled out of the tub and it's gone cold. Water? The realization reignites everything you thought had calmed inside. This time, you're sure it wasn't a hallucination. No, impossible. Tristan, put me down. Tristan's amber eyes narrow in suspicion. Okay, somebody is trying to make us lose our freaking mind. And they're winning. They are winning. I fear. My lady, I said put me down. I'll check the tub myself. Let me go. Your impatient outburst draws startled whispers, making you aware of the spectators at the doorway. If everyone in the manor could hear you, why did it take them so long to arrive? Deciding to leave that question for later, you focus on the moment. Do you think maybe she was having like, what's that called? It's like a nightmare, but like you're like awake, lucid dreaming. That's not it. Like where you're literally like frozen, you're like stuck. Do you guys know what that is? Because I don't know what I'm talking about. Sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis. Maybe she's having like sleep paralysis because she did take a little nappy nap in the tube. Deciding to leave that question for later, you focus on the moment. Tristan finally complies, slowly letting you get down from his arms. You take a timid step towards the bathtub, determined. Handing you the lamp, Daisy murmurs hesitantly, "What's the matter, my lady? Did you see a mouse?" Ignoring her, you firmly direct the lamp's light at the bathtub. But before you do, a faint glimmer reflecting of the floor proves that only water is spilled from the tub. Looking inside confirms the same. The blood that has filled the tub just moments ago, not even a trace remains. So everything that just happened was nothing more than another. No matter how vivid and terrifying it felt, you refused to believe it. Tristan's calm but stern voice breaks the silence. Did I assign anyone a task requiring to stand idly by the door? Am I mistaken? Shadows at the doorway quickly scatter as his tone softens slightly, directed at you. Of course, his tone is a little softer because he's in love with us. Must have had a nightmare, my lady. I think you're right. Please don't be upset. Must have been caused by the sudden change in temperature. Despite the dim light, you can discern the hardening lines on Tristan's face. Luckily, they're not aimed at you. How could you leave my lady alone in the bath for so long? That's a great question. You weren't even aware that the fire had gone out. Under Tristan's icy gaze, the poor servant's face turns crimson. I I just never leave my lady alone under any circumstances, or you'll need to find yourself a new place to work. Ooh, protective man. We love a little protective man. I can't lie. We love, we love. What are you waiting for? Take her to the room immediately. Help her dry off and get dressed, and make sure she hasn't been hurt. Not wanting to stay a moment longer in the sun-settling place, you hurry to leave. Just as you're about to step out of the room, one of the shadows in the corner moves and lunges at you. Woof, woof, woof. Snow! You stare at your dog in disbelief, wondering how it managed to stay still and silent in the bathroom until now. Daisy, afraid of upsetting Tristan any further, tries to pull Snow away from you. Now's not the time, Snow! Get away immediately! It never listens. Bad dog. Girl, calm down. It's just a dog. You're just embarrassed because you messed up. Don't be taking it out on my dog. Wait, Daisy. Grabbing a nearby towel, you crouch down to Snow. Under Daisy's astonished glance, you start drying its fur. Did Snow go outside while I was away? The question, the question catches Daisy off guard. No, milady. As Tristan approaches, you see her lower her head anxiously, unable to say more. You're certain she's hiding something. Still, you don't want to interrogate her in front of Tristan and prolong the tension of the evening. But just then, you notice a dark stain on the towel in your hands. With momentary hesitation, you lift your gaze to Tristan. His expression, oddly enough, reassures you. At least this time, you're sure it wasn't your imagination. Not now. Snow starts panting excitedly, looking at you intently as if trying to tell you something. Yet despite the insistence of his large bright eyes, he can't convey his message. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm telling you it's cold in this room. Tristan's shadow leans over him, shrouding him in darkness. Don't worry, milady. It seems Snow isn't injured. This blood must have come from somewhere else. His brows furrow as he turns his gaze to Daisy. I've told you countless times not to give him bloody raw meat, haven't I? You know it's one of Tristan's rules to tame Snow, who already looks wilder than an ordinary dog, though you believe there isn't an ounce of savagery in Snow. You've never opposed Tristan on this matter, especially since he's always claimed Snow was unsuitable for life in the manor. Must have been the the kitchen. Why did I read that as handkerchief? Must have been the kitchen staff that gave it to him. I don't know anything. Truly, my lady. Daisy's pleading gaze is hard to ignore. Why am I annoyed by Daisy? And I'm just like, okay, no. Get rid of her. Yay, we're gonna save. Can this be discussed later? I'm cold. As the butler, it's your duty to know everything that happens in this manor, Tristan. No, I'm cold. I'm cold. Tristan hesitates briefly before stepping back in a rush. Of course, forgive me for keeping you waiting, my lady. You can rest assured that such confusion will never happen in the manor again. As you retreat to your room, Daisy carefully dries and dresses you, but your thoughts remain a tangled mess. You can barely follow her words as she continues, her gaze filled with gratitude never leaving you. Believe me, my lady, I came as soon as I heard your voice. I just wanted to tidy up your belongings while you were bathing. I noticed one of your perfumes was almost empty, so I went downstairs to send a servant to order a new one. You know, the wedding's approaching, and everything must be perfect. Okay, maybe Daisy's just a little anxious girly pop. I just don't like how she's like, I don't know. So like, don't look at me, it wasn't my fault. Like, are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't your fault? Or are you just lying to cover your booty? Daisy gently rubs ointments over the few bruises on your back and legs caused to your fall on the bathroom's hard floor. As for a long, strong bite Snow left on your arm, there isn't a single mark. You could have guessed Snow wouldn't do such a thing, now peacefully curled up sleeping near the roaring fireplace. Catching your gaze on the dog, Daisy immediately speaks up. I had nothing to do with the bloody meal, my lady. Bloody meal? I mean the blood on Snow. Maybe he slipped outside and caught a rabbit or something. I'd never go against Tristan, or rather, your orders. I get that Tristan is big, bad, and scary, but, why don't y'all listen to her instead of just him? You know, at least in this matter, she isn't lying, or more precisely, can't lie. What do you mean can't lie? Thank you, Daisy. Since Daisy's taking these marks more seriously than usual, due to the approaching wedding, you wait for her to finish her work so you can be done. Alone. I'm just adding my own little mix. The remix. Okay. I'm Confusion Station. What is going on? And who killed us? I want to know who killed us before. On accident. Like, who killed us? I just want to know. I just want to know. Okay. Afterwards, you try to process everything that happened during the day. After all, you need to make a decision eventually. First, the blood-stained lilies in the cemetery, then the blood-filled bathtub. They're quite different from the hallucinations you've experienced before. Whew. Sorry, guys. Yawning. That's why finding a solution doesn't seem as easy as you'd hoped. If the crimson lily in the cemetery was really dragged from another grave, and Snow just stole raw meat from the kitchen, oh, what am I even thinking? Of course that must be what happened. You try to push these nonsensical thoughts aside as you focus on the upcoming wedding and the details demanding your attention, but before long, sleep overtakes you. In the middle of the night, you slip beneath the heavy blanket, unsure of what woke you. That's a person and a dog. You approach the window beside your bed and peer outside. The dark forest, starting where the high garden walls end, is cloaked in an eerie stillness and silence tonight. None of the wolves' howls that filled the recent nights have reached your ears now. Stepping away from the window, your gaze returns to your room, warm and brightly lit by the crackling fireplace. Daisy, insistent on not leaving you alone, sleeps peacefully in the chair by the fireplace, her head resting against its back. Snow curled up at her feet and shares the same tranquility. Despite the nightmare you experienced in the bathroom, you desperately need peaceful sleep. You found it there. You start thinking of something that could help you achieve it. You consider what might help you, and you think of the chamomile tea as your best option. At least for now, a hot bath is out of the question. Girl, I don't blame you. Not wanting to disturb Daisy's sleep, you decide to head to the kitchen. Oh my gosh, we're gonna get murdered. Someone is. Someone there's. Someone there is bound to be awake preparing for the day ahead, as work in the kitchen starts earlier than the rest of the manor. Wrapping yourself in the robe, you quietly slip into the hallway. The oppressive atmosphere makes the manor, combined with the chill and silence of the night, feel overwhelming. You quicken your pace as you descend the stairs and head towards the kitchen. But despite the lit lamps and the boiling pot on the stove, the kitchen is empty. Your steps almost instinctively lead you to the other side of the kitchen, to the open door leading to the corridor where the storage rooms are located. In the dark hallway, you easily spot the only door ajar, light splitting from its gap. However, the sounds coming inside, moans perhaps, warn you against approaching. The only thing you're certain of is Tristan is in there. Is he getting freaky with somebody in the pantry? I'm gonna see because I'm scared that I'm gonna die again. We're gonna approach. Can I not approach? You're lying. Why is it right there? Why is it right there and I can't hit it? How dare you? How dare you? Guys, I want to approach. I want to see who he's messing around with in the pantry. Fine. You know that encountering an inappropriate scene wouldn't suit someone like you. Yeah, but I'm nosy. Whatever is happening in there, you are confident that Tristan would never let it interfere with his duties. With a few other options, you decide to return to your room. Okay, I guess she really doesn't realize she likes Tristan. Because why isn't she like, what are you doing? Who are you in here with? Blah, 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 blah. I need more water eventually. Okay, with few other options, you decide to return to your room. Crawling back into your bed, you wait helplessly for sweet sleep to take you. Sweep? I'm waiting for Sweep to take me. Snow barking a few times in his sleep makes your effort even more challenging, yet Daisy remains undisturbed. Jelly. Eventually, as the room starts to brighten with the first light of dawn, your eyes finally close, only to open again a few hours later. Yay! We survived! Thank God. We kept dying. I was like, come on, guys. Why do I keep dying? A new day. No matter how long you sleep, you wake up the same time every morning, without exception, and have your breakfast. After all, the rules of this house are so deeply rooted and unshakable that they control even you, the master of the estate. Still, that doesn't change the fact that you need them. You have no idea how things would function without them. When you leave the dining room, you take your place at your writing desk. The letters you need to respond to are already waiting for you. Oh, how I'd love to be a rich girly pop that just has to write letters all day and take baths. In the winter months, the estate and its lands are wrapped in an even deeper silence under the weight of the snow. No sound of the heavy door knocker announcing a visitor, no distant rumble of carriage wheels passing by. The only connection you have to the outside world is these letters. During this season, there are usually so few that reading them every couple of days, delivering the necessary replies to Tristan before noon, is simple and routine responsibility. With the ornate letter opener passed down from your father, you slice through the envelopes and glance towards their contents with ease of habit, without much thought. Catalogues from the boutiques in town. You are certain your wardrobe has undergone enough changes due to the wedding. Hunting invitation from neighboring estates. You never found fox hunting in the cold to be an enjoyable activity. A note from the maternal relative offering their regrets for being unable to attend the wedding and sending well wishes. That serves as the final confirmation that none of your maternal relatives, those not too distant to you, have received invitations, will be present at the ceremony. Given the distance, the reluctance to undertake such a journey in winter is understandable. Not that it makes much of a difference to you. You merely fulfilled your duty as expected. Brief update from your lawyer awaiting your instructions regarding to a few minor issues related to the property. That you can leave to Tristan. And a dinner invitation dated today from the Red Heart Manor. The Red Heart Manor belongs to your closest neighbors, your fiance and his family. Ooh, we get to meet them. For the past few months, you have politely declined every invitation you've received, citing poor health due to the season. For a moment, you consider doing the same thing with this one. After all, the letter states it's merely a small, intimate dinner. Ink spills from the tip of your pen onto the paper, forming a series of well-rehearsed words, apologies, and another refusal. Just as you're about to finish your letter, you hear a knock at the door and lift your head. Come in. Contrary to your expectations, it's not the butler who enters, but your maid, carrying a silver tray, followed closely by Snow, who dashes into the room. I brought you tea and some refreshments, my lady. You try to recall when you made such a request. Yet, as you attempt to remember, even the moment before you grows hazy in your mind, you forget why you were writing the letter in front of you in the first place. Seeing the bewilderment on your face, Daisy's eyebrows lift in alarm. Last time you said a single plate of refreshments would be enough as long as there were no guests. Or at least, I thought that's what you said, my lady. If you prefer, I can take them to prepare a large serving tray right away. Your dog, after allowing himself to be pet for a while, and devouring the biscuit Daisy accidentally dropped on the floor, quickly moves away from you and heads to the burning fireplace. You shake yourself as if rousing from sleep. The letters, petting your dog, Daisy's arrival with the tray, it all re-emerges in your mind as if nothing more than a links of a chain of a routine. A cycle that repeats without any need for request. No, Daisy, thank you for doing exactly as I asked. But what about that moment of forgetfulness? It feels as though exhaustion in your body is seeping into your mind. You push the thought aside and return to your letter without delay. As Daisy relieved? Yeah. As Daisy, relieved from her early nervousness, set the tray down on the table, her eyes catch one of the open envelopes. Her enthusiastic voice slices through the quiet ambiance of the small study like a blade. I didn't know you were writing to Lord Oscar. My lady, please forgive me for interrupting. Unfortunately, the words you've penned lack romance and passion like she's imagining. You are well aware of how romanticize the wedding. I'm no. Envisioning them as bonds of perfect compatibility, intense attraction, and unwavering devotion. Yet in reality, these unions are forged for power and status, require no such conditions. Still, in this moment, you realize something important about Oscar's letter, something that nearly escaped your notice. The problem lies in the handwriting. The dinner invitation was not written or signed by your fiance, but someone else merely posing as him. Oscar's action is either gross act of negligence or blatant display of disrespect, or perhaps both. Taking the letter you wrote to your fiance in hand, you rise from your chair and approach the fireplace. Just as before you let the paper slip into the rising flames, you turn to Daisy. Could you summon Tristan for me? Of course, my lady. As you watch the letter ignite with a sharp hiss and crumble into ash, your thoughts begin to crowd your mind, filling the silence Daisy leaves as she departs. Rah, rah, rah. Sorry. You are well aware that this communication between you and Oxer has dwindled as the wedding approaches, but you are unsure of which of you is more at fault for that. Before the marriage decision was announced to you, the familiarity of being neighbors with Oscar, along with social ties of belonging to the same circle, should have naturally fostered a smooth, effortless bond between you. At least that's what your guardians told you. Yet now you feel that bond stretched thin on the verge of snapping at any moment. Excuse me, I yawned during that entire thing. Guys, it is so cold. I'm about to go get a blanket. Yeah, I'm gonna go get a blanket. BRB. It's cold outside. Where did she go? It's cold outside. Ah, it's better. Okay, I already feel better. And if it does, you have no idea what awaits you on the other side. The only uncertainty is that your guardians and your place in society would not approve, and that you must attend this dinner tonight. A firm, commanding knock echoes through the small salon, drawing your gaze towards the entrance. It's gonna be Tristan. I lied, I have one more taco left. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Fire. That was so on purpose. There, you see Tristan. As Tristan bows before you with his usual precision, you notice his gaze lingering on you with more scrutiny than usual. Oh, And though he's assessing whether you're still under the influence of yesterday's hallucinations, to be fair, you can't say for certain yourself. You summoned me, my lady. I am at your service. Hope you're feeling better today than you did yesterday. You respond in a steady voice, motioning towards the writing desk. I am Tristan, thank you. The letters are ready for delivery. You may take them from the desk. But before I respond to the lawyer, I wanted to hear your thoughts. You catch the way Tristan's golden eyes narrow slightly, realizing that this will be no different from any of your usual conversations. His gaze shifts swiftly from you to the desk as he moves towards it, prepared to carry out your request. Yet before leaning over the scattered envelopes and letters, he hesitates. You have no doubt that Daisy has already informed him of what has transpired, the letter from your fiancé, your response, and the fact you burned it. I mean, burn it, queen. The lawyer's letters in the corner. Tristan, bowing his head, sheds his pretended hesitation, and approaching your desk filled with personal correspondence encouraged by your implicit approval. Still, for a fleeting moment, his eyes drift somewhere other than your lawyer's letter. But the moment quickly passes. The issue in the letter seems to be more serious than stated, my lady. If I may offer my humble opinion, it would be wise to send a trusted person to assess the situation before granting the lawyer the approval he seeks. His voice, ever calm, makes it easy to trust him without question. After all, in 5 years, you have never encountered a reason not to. You may handle it as you see fit, Tristan, but I believe it must be done swiftly. I will go to town this afternoon to take care of the necessary correspondence, my lady. There is no need for concern. I will also speak with a few hunters from the village regarding the wolf problem in the forest. And I have already given kitchen staff proper instructions regarding your dog's diet. I do not believe we will encounter that issue again. If there's anything else you require, milady, you only need say the word. In the silence that follows, the soft, rhythmic breathing of Snow dozing by the fire fills the room. It is clear that with all these tasks Tristan will not be able to accompany you to the Red Hart Manor tonight. Though you are not accustomed to traveling alone, the mutual dissatisfaction between your fiancé and butler makes Tristan's absence the more appropriate choice for this dinner. After brief hesitation, you make your decision. Have the coachman prepare for this evening, Tristan. I will be attending dinner at the Red Hart Manor. For a fleeting moment, something like surprise flashes through Tristan's golden eyes. You're not used to seeing this expression from him. Yet his voice remains composed, unwavering. Forgive me, my lady. Did you mean this evening? I did. Please go see to your tasks. I will go alone. He's like, why are you going alone without me? You know that Tristan cannot press the matter outright, so he takes another approach. My lady, forgive me for my impertinence, but with this recent heavy snowfall, I've been concerned about whether the roads to the Red Hart Manor is passable for a carriage. Had there been more time, I would have sent someone ahead to inspect it. In this weather, there's a high risk of your carriage getting stuck in the snow, or God forbid, an accident occurring. His words unsettle you. The thought of the carriage wheels sinking into an unseen ditch, of the axles breaking, of the horses panicking and injuring themselves. For someone who does not enjoy travel to begin with, these are not mere inconveniences. They are nightmares. Especially given your recent exhaustion and hallucinations. But the dinner is important. You must see your fiancé soon, before the impression that you have neglected him takes root. Okay, we've survived all of these, so now it's his turn. Thinkies. I feel like we should be kind of sassy. Are you suggesting I go on horseback instead? I trust you will find a suitable solution, difficult as it may be, Tristan. No, I want to be like, Are you suggesting I go on horseback instead? Tristan knows better than anyone that you do not get along with horses, and that you would never willingly ride one in this weather. He understands the irony in your voice. For a moment, his expression darkens. You do not mean to wound him, only to remind him that he must respect your decision. I misspoke, my lady. Of course, it is my duty to ensure you travel safely, whenever and wherever you wish. I believe this would be best for a rider to accompany the carriage, ensuring the coachman is informed of the road's condition in advance, and keeping watch over you. This would make it easier to send for help, or turn back if anything goes amiss. Additionally, I will ensure that provisions, blankets, and anything else necessary for your comfort during the journey are prepared. I feel kind of bad. I didn't realize it was going to be like that. He's like, I'm so sorry. I misspoke. But I think it's also like normal because I feel like this is like olden days. Like, I guess for them to be like, I'm so sorry. I've misspoken, my lady. you know? Additionally, I will. Okay. I'm certain you will reach Red Heart Manor without issue. His words instill enough confidence for you to commit to the journey, even if his expression expresses otherwise. To be fair, though, yeah, we kind of got a little snappy at him, but he also knows that we're scared of traveling and was like, what if something goes amiss? Just because he wants to go. Like, don't play Pookie. I know what you was doing. Lately, you've not only lost trust in others, but in yourself. Perhaps this trip will help you reclaim some of it, or at least you wish to believe so. Later in the day, though Tristan is no longer at the manor, the instructions he left behind ensure that everything proceeds seamlessly. By the time the coachman informs you that all preparations are complete, you leave your room, ready to depart. Though dinner is still hours away, everyone, including yourself, agrees that it's best to set out early. Daisy follows you with eager steps, seeing you off, as though she's the only one pleased about your attendance at this dinner. You find a small sense of relief in that. Well, her and Snow, who excitedly dash around your feet, expecting an evening walk. If dinner stretches late into the night, please do not rush back, my lady. I'm certain Lord Oscar would be kind enough to offer you accommodations for the night. The thought gives you pause. You recall that until now, neither your fiancé nor you have ever spent the night at each other's mansions. Considering that you're neighbors, this is quite surprising. I feel like since you're neighbors, it's not surprising. You're like, I'm just gonna go home. No doubt. Daisy, still caught up in her delight, does not notice the irony in your voice. If that is the case, you will need a maid to assist you. Lord Oscar will surely assign the best in his household to attend you, but no matter who he chooses, she will not be me. If you wish, I can prepare at once and accompany you, my lady. As the servant pulls the door open, the wind rushes in, carrying in frigid air from the outside world into the entryway. The sudden chill, couped with your brief hesitation, delays your response for moments longer than intended. Unlike Tristan, Daisy will undoubtedly spend the entire journey chattering about upcoming wedding without pause. That is very thoughtful of you, Daisy, but I may not need the company. I might not even wish to complete this journey to the Red Heart Manor. Daisy, struggling to keep Snow from darting outside, stares at you in bewilderment, momentarily at a loss for words. You don't wish to shatter her romantic notions so bluntly, but you continue regardless. Please, look after Snow while I'm gone. Period. Before you resolve your fault, you swiftly descend into the manor steps and head towards the waiting carriage. As you settle into the carriage, the door shuts behind you with a firm thud, sealing you away from the cold and dim, heavy silence of the winter night. Everything inside you has been prepared for comfort. Several thick blankets, baskets overflowing with refreshments, and a few books you recently acquired but have yet to read. They should be enough to keep you occupied. The carriage lurches forward, beginning on its journey. For a while you find yourself gazing outside, watching as the high garden walls of the estate fade into the dense woods beyond. The snow drapes over the trees, covering their branches in a pale bluish white shroud. It's as breath it's it is a breathtaking sight, one that is both enchanting and unsettling. Then a sharp, thin, fragmented sound cuts through the stillness. Your ears strain to catch its source, but before you can pinpoint it, a dark figure moves in the depths of the forest. You don't know how long it's been there, but the moment your gaze lands upon it, it vanishes as if aware you've seen it. A trick, perhaps. That's Tristan. I can feel it in my bones. Yet an uneasy shiver runs through you, as if the unseen eyes are still watching. Most likely it was a poacher who had wandered into the woods and feared being caught. That must be all. Still, you draw the curtains over the windows before returning your focus to the book in your lap, skimming through its pages without absorbing a single word. At first, you barely notice the subtle deceleration of the carriage. It is only when the horses come to a full stop that your grip on your book tightens. The muffled sound of boots crunching through the snow draws closer. Your heart pounds through. You keep your gaze trained on the book. Then the door creaks open, and a familiar face from the manor stands before you. The rider who had accompanied the journey, and one coachman called Rudolph. His silver hair glows faintly under the light, a striking resemblance to Tristan's. You suspect he, too, must have come from the villages surrounding the estate. The road is nearly blocked with snow, and there's bound to be ice. Hasn't been used much lately. If we continue, we'll have to slow down significantly, my lady. Tristan's warnings proving accurate once again does little to ease your frustration. Even if you press on, it's clear you'll be late for dinner at this place. As you weigh your options, a sound thin, fractured, aching cuts through the silence. It startles you. This time it echoes deeper within the woods. But the shadow, you catch it now, pressed against the trunk of the tree, much closer than before. Your hand lifts almost to its own accord, pointing to Rudolph before your mind can register the movement. And yet the moment he turns to look, it's already gone. The rustling branches stirred by the wind whisper through the trees. The eerie sensation creeps up your spine again. This time you're certain something or someone has been watching you for the entire journey. And if not, then the alternative is that it's all in your mind. You force yourself to move with measured caution as you turn back to Rudolph. Did you hear that just now? His response is immediate. Of course, my lady. Likely a predator. I couldn't quite place it, but in this weather, anything you saw was probably it. They say their numbers have grown significantly in the forests lately. What are they looking for? His eyes gleam as he answers, Food, my lady. Just like the rest of us. But there's no need for concern. We have rifles with us. He pauses before adding, What is your decision? Shall we turn back or do we continue forward? Okay, we're gonna save over this save, yeah. Too many saves. Should we go or should we turn back? I'm gonna go, even though I feel like it's gonna get us killed. Your words cause the young man's eyes to cloud with unease, but he merely lowers his head slightly, unable to oppose you. As you command, my lady, I'll inform the coachman immediately. As the door closes, the narrow enclosed space of the carriage fills you with a sense of safety and warmth, offering you some comfort. But you know it won't last forever. With nightfall, the dropping temperatures and growing fatigue will make your journey increasingly difficult. And yet, thinking of Oscar's indifferent and mocking nature, you doubt he sees much significance in this abstruse trip. You're about to tell the coachman to turn back when, despite not having traveled too far, the carriage suddenly lurches forward with an alarming speed. It takes only a moment for you to realize this isn't the coachman's doing. You're sliding on ice. Thrown off balance, you instinctively reach for something to hold on to, but it's useless. You fall onto the carriage floor. Fortunately, a thick pile of blankets cushions your landing and spares you from any serious harm. At the same time, the horses come to an abrupt halt, managing to stop the carriage. Your heart pounds so violently that the sound roars in your ears, nearly drowning out the noise of the carriage door opening. My lady. I'm fine. Rudolph exhales in relief. He realizes you're unharmed, merely tangled in thick blankets. With his help, you stand up and step out of the tilted carriage. Though your breath fogs your vision, it doesn't take long for you to grasp the situation. The carriage has been veered off the road and crashing through the trees as the horses are now buried up to their bodies in snow-covered bog. A wave of regret burns through you like fire. While the other two assess the situation, you remain silent, merely listening. We should go find help. Don't be ridiculous. By the time help arrives, the horses will be dead. Shut up and help me. With Rudolph's assistance, the coachman manages to unfasten the horses from their harness and straighten the carriage, but saving the horses will take far more effort. Standing roadside, you watch them struggle. You can feel the weight of their stolen glances, the silent accusations pressing down on you. Guilt and unease settle onto your shoulders like an unbearable burden. You cannot shake the feeling that something worse is coming, that something hidden in the darkness lurking behind the trees is watching you. But you can't point out every shadow that surrounds you. You can't burden them with yet another problem. Guys, we're gonna die. I knew this was probably the wrong choice. That's why I saved. I just want to go meet our fiance. Helplessly, you retreat into the carriage and wait. Despite the comfort it offers, this moment the carriage feels no different than a cage. With no other way to distract yourself, you pick up a book once more and try to drown out your own thoughts. Suddenly finding yourself in darkness, your first reaction is confusion. But the weight of the book resting in your lap makes you realize you must have dozed off while reading. After what happened in the bathtub yesterday, you have no idea how you managed to fall asleep so easily outside in the middle of a forest. This time it feels as you merely blinked, yet exhaustion still clings to you, and the eerie shiver crawls over your skin, unrelated to the cold. Only now do you notice the carriage still not moving. But the sky is already pitch black, the sound of the howling is in the wind. Your instincts scream at you not to step outside, but about this silence, this stillness. Summoning your courage, you push the blankets off your trembling hands and you crack the carriage door open. Snowflakes drift gently into the air, brushing against your face, but the silence greeting you is far from soothing. The trees around you cloak in deepening shadows, seems larger, misshapen, distorted. I suppose Rudolph was right. We need to call for help. But as you step in front of the carriage, your words freeze in the air, just like your breath. The horse stand ready, harnessed, prepared to depart. Then what are they waiting for? More importantly, where are the others? Your gaze darts around in the growing dread. You know with absolute certainty they would not have left you here alone. Which means something emerged while you were asleep in the carriage. You try to reassure yourself by recalling Rudolph's words that they had rifles, and he told you not to worry. Yet a whisper from deep within tells you that their rifles might be no more useful than a child's toy. I'm more concerned about where the heck they are, because how can I be like, they're gonna protect me with rifles if they're not even around? Oh, was that just there? Are we hallucinating again? The moon above spills its cold silver light onto the road, making the snow glisten like a path to the fairy tale realm. But something mars this enchanting scene, a stain, a deep crimson stain that unsettles your senses far too much. Lifting your head, you see more of them ahead, dozens of them. No, no, it can't be. Impossible. They must belong to some poor animal. The others must have encountered something urgent that required them to leave suddenly. They'll be back any moment now. But no matter how hard you try to bring yourself to believe this hopeful scenario, your steps instinctively urge you to go back to the safety of your carriage, yet guilt anchors you in place. If only you'd been reasonable. If only you'd turned back before the accident. If only you'd never set out at all. An animal, just an animal, it has to be. But no matter what you tell yourself, the truth seeps into your bones like melting crimson stains spreading through the snow. Your heart pounds wildly, as if it must burst through your ribs, every fiber of your being screaming for you to retreat. Get back inside, lock the door, wait. But for how long? Tristan will find you surely. He always does. But what if something else finds you first? There's no way out. The red trail beckons you deeper into the forest, pulling you forward against your better judgment. Yeah. Whoa. Oh no! Pookie dead! Until you see it, a pool of blood beneath a tree trunk, and its center on a man lying motionless as if he's dead. Before even stepping closer, you know it's Rudolph. Your hands fly to your mouth, trapping the scream that turns into a hard lump in your throat. No, no, no. God, please. Despite the burning in your lungs from the uneven breaths, despite the sharp ache twisting through your muscles, you desperately want to believe that this is not real. A hallucination, maybe, just like yesterday. But no matter how many times you blink, the scene before you doesn't change. Then you notice it, a weak rise and fall of his chest. He's still breathing. Rudolph! How could he still be alive after losing so much blood? That moment, the sound of snapping branches reaches your ears, and a shadow emerges suddenly among the trees like a ghost. It moves so fast that you have no chance to scream or run. You're completely trapped. As if your body is no longer under your control, your legs suddenly refuse to support you, and you collapse onto your knees. Like prey, ready to be hunted. You should have never come to this forest. The only thing still under your control is your mouth, and you manage to move your lips. No, you can't eat me. I'm not food. As the shadow draws closer, its terrifying bulk shrinks down to human proportions, and the eerie silence of the forest is broken by a powerful, energetic laugh. I'm sure you're not food, my dear. At the very least, I'd take a well-seasoned venison steak over you. You got my hopes up for nothing. What? We're not dead? Why's Rudolph dead? I'm so confused. A moment later the shadow becomes clearer, his jacket, the ornate hunting rifle in his hand, the blood-red gleam of his hair in the darkness, and the sharp cut of his jawline. All the details that make him Oscar, your fiancé. Unlike the last time you saw him, surrounded by luxury and grandeur and lavish gathering, now you find him standing in the cold, dark depths of the forest. For a moment, your mind struggles to comprehend it. You even felt fear that he might be a hallucination. And yet, despite the rising tide of fear within you, there's an odd sense of relief that cuts through it. A moment later, your voice returns. Oscar, please help me. There's something in this forest following me. I felt like I was being watched since the beginning of my journey, but I thought I was imagining things. But it's already attacked Rudolph. Look at him. He's lying there, covered in blood. I could come back. It could come back at any moment. As Oscar's long hunting boots crunch through the snow, you lift your gaze to him. Yet despite everything you've just said, he doesn't seem concerned at all. Instead, under the moonlight, his smirk becomes even more pronounced. Oh, my dear, I can understand why you're so excited to see me, but I have no idea what nonsense you're spouting. If you're done with your greetings, get up already. Oh, you turd. You hesitate for a moment before taking his outstretched hand. There's no other choice. Oscar pulls you with force, stronger than you expected, and now you're standing closer. You can get a better look of his face, especially his eyes. Despite the nonchalance in his voice, you realize he's carefully studying you. Good, you didn't hit your head anywhere. For a second, you almost had me worried. You try to calm yourself, but your voice still comes out fast and frantic. Oscar, are you even listening to me? I'm serious. Look at Rudolph. You stop mid sentence as your eyes fall on Rudolph, realizing something horrifying. The pool of blood surrounding him is gone, as if it evaporated into thin air, just like what happened at the cemetery and in the bathroom. Oscar, noticing your sight, crunches beside the man laying down in the snow. Rudolph? I was almost sure his name was something ridiculous like Tristan. Whatever. He's not dead. I thought you'd finally decided to get rid of him and brought him to my estate to bury him. Your mind comes to a complete halt. You don't know what to think anymore. The only thing you're certain of is that Rudolph is your priority. Please stop joking and help me figure out what's wrong with him. Do I look like a doctor to you, darling? Okay, he kind of pisses me off, I can't lie. I just want to pow pow pow. Despite his exasperated tone, Oscar sets his rifle aside and checks Rudolph's post before turning him onto his side to examine him. It doesn't take him long to realize the man is not your butler. Oh, another white-haired male. Your preference truly leaves me speechless, dear. Looks like he just passed out, though if he stays like this much longer, he'll freeze to death. Even though your mind is full of questions, Oscar's words bring small relief in the middle of this wretched journey. You eagerly speak up. My carriage is nearby. We'll carry him there. For a brief moment, the mockery in Oscar's eyes dim. Oh dear, may I remind you I'm your fiancé, not your servant. You must be confusing me with someone else. Ugh, I'm not begging you for anything. Let me do it. Your defiant tone makes his eyes glimmer, and soon enough you hear the amusement in his voice. Oh, really? Please go ahead, dear. Can't wait to see how you'll manage to carry him all on your own. Poor thing. I already feel bad for him. You should have known that that remark wouldn't faze him. Still, determined to stand your ground, you ignore him and kneel beside Rudolph. Sweating and struggling, you manage to lift him slightly by his arm. Before you can do more, Oscar's hand cuts in sharp. Leave him. I have no interest in dealing with two corpses in the middle of the forest. Without another word, he retrieves a rifle he replaced on the ground and takes a few steps away from you. He did not just do that. A sudden flash of fire pierces the darkness, followed by the deafening crack of gunpowder. It doesn't take much to realize he just fired a shot to signal his location. Okay, I thought he just shot him. I was like, there's no way you just killed him. Soon the shadows surrounding you stir, followed by the sound of approaching voices. Did you get it, Oscar? Was it a big deer? Want to see for yourself? It's lying right over there. As the first shadow emerges into the moonlight, you recognize the man's face from the lavish parties you've attended. But now, in the forest gloom, he looks vastly different. His features are tense with urgency. Bloody hell, did you shoot a man? I need help getting rid of the body. The tense silence lasts only for a moment before Oscar's lips curl into a signature twisted smirk. You're too easy to fool, you know. It's not even fun anymore. Okay. So you're a turd. And you're not even as attractive as the other guy. Side eye. Side eye. Yeah, I get why he doesn't want you to marry him. I don't want you to marry him either. I don't want to marry him, actually. He's a turd. He is a little turd nugget, and I'm not a fan. Hmm. Ah. As Oscar's hunting party reaches you, you finally learn where your missing coachman has been. One of the approaching figures steps forward, his outline illuminated by the lantern's glow, and you recognize him instantly. By the time we got the horses free, it was already too dark. Continuing on would have been too dangerous. When I heard the gunshot, I thought Lord Oscar might be out hunting. Since Rudolph wasn't familiar with Lord Oscar's men, I went to ask for help, and he insisted he wouldn't leave your side. Can't understand how he could be so reckless. Since Rudolph remains unconscious, there's no way to get an answer. As you make your way back to the carriage, the glow of lanterns held by Oscar's men fails to reveal any traces of the red stains that led you to Rudolph. Instead of easing your fear, this only made it worse. Yeah, because that blood led you to him. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have found him. So I'm like, how is it this convenient? I think she has some kind of secret power or something. If it was all in your head, then how did you manage to find Rudolph when there was not a single trace left of him? And why is the carriage door open? Did you forget to close it? Did the wind blow it open? Or had the shadow been here? Had it looked inside to find you? Well, I'm glad we didn't wait in the carriage. A fresh wave of fear washes over you. Even now, you still feel like you're being watched. As long as you remain in this forest, you doubt you'll ever be free of that feeling. Even as a child, a single glance at the woods beyond your bedroom had been enough to send chills down your spine. Now, you vow to keep the curtains tightly shut on every future journey. Once inside the carriage, your gaze drifts to Rudolph, bundled in thick blankets and fast asleep in the corner, and you can't help but recall that vivid crimson, still warm blood. From outside, you hear Oscar's deep voice carrying over the hushed whispers of his hunting party. Edgar, show the coachman the shortcut to our estate. Let the poor horses catch their breath. This little rescue mission has exhausted me. I'll be riding inside the carriage with my future wife. Without delay, the carriage door swings open, letting in the cold night air as Oscar steps inside. The crimson of his hair and clothes unsettles you, but you try to ignore it. And of course, you already know he will bypass Rudolph entirely and sit beside you. Bracing yourself for discomfort, you inch close to the window as possible, hoping you put as much space between you and the narrow seat allows. Oscar notices your subtle retreat, yet despite settling into his seat with his usual nonchalance, he doesn't close the distance. A rare courtesy, or perhaps a subtle confirmation of the distance that has grown between you lately. As the carriage lurches forward again, you close your eyes, willing the rest of this cursed journey to pass quickly. But then, the rustle of the food basket, a sharp crunch. Oscar's found an apple and wasted no time biting into it. And then, predictably, his voice, ever unrelenting, fills the carriage once more. You must have forgotten that his mouth never ceases to work. What a comfortable little carriage! You have blankets, well-stocked food basket, and even some ridiculous book about necromancy. Though personally, I would prefer a more thrilling, pleasurable pastime. Your eyes snap open, sharp with warning. Oscar meets your gaze with an expression so innocent it could almost pass as sincere. It's not. I only meant conversation, of course. For instance, you still haven't told me what you were doing on my land so late at night, my dear. A part of you concedes that, given his aid in this situation, a little gratitude might be warranted. I assumed you would have figured that out. I was on my way to the Red Hart Manor for your dinner invitation. For the first time, true surprise flickers across Oscar's face. I don't recall inviting you to dinner. Okay, so it was a setup. Tis was a setup. In fact, I don't recall hosting a dinner at all. Just a quiet meal with a few relatives and friends as usual. Now it's your turn to be caught off guard. I didn't know that. I received a letter bearing your family seal, written and signed by you. Of course, you conveniently skipped over the part where the handwriting doesn't match his. The realization that this entire journey may have been for nothing gnaws at you. You fix your gaze on him, waiting for a reaction. But Oscar merely takes another exaggerated bite of his apple, and then without an ounce of shame he tosses the half-eaten fruit back into the basket. His indifference returns like a well-worn mask. Goodness gracious, this man doesn't care about anything. He's not like quiet, mysterious. He's like a brat. It's kind of what I'm getting. An arrogant brat. Must have been the Seward, which means my mother told him to. You know how the old woman is half the time. Even I can't make sense of what she's up to. Lady Diana, Oscar's mother, is a formidable person in her own right, the true ruler of Red Hart Manor and its lands. Though you know that Oscar has taken full control due to her declining health. How long that will last remains uncertain. Naturally, as a devoted fiance, I would never have subjected my delicate and ailing betrothed to such an exhausting journey had I known. And yet, this devoted fiance never thought to check on my well-being despite hearing I was unwell. It's not a seasonal matter, nothing to be concerned about. I kind of want to get sassy. I'm sassy. A brief moment, Oscar's ever-mocking expression falters, then with a slight lift of his brow, his smirk returns. Frankly, I assumed it was just an excuse to avoid me. I still do. Can you really blame me for thinking that? Your teeth grit, forcing you not to rise in his arrogance. You should be prepared for this by now. But somehow he still manages to infuriate you. I'm glad you're also infuriated. Yes, because when I said I wasn't feeling well, I actually meant it. You weren't even on my mind. And you look perfectly fine now, my dear. Still, as a concerned fiance, I could never allow you or your men to set out on another journey tonight. And here we are. Welcome to the Randhart Manor, my dear. With a smooth pull of the curtain, Oscar reveals the grand silhouette of the manor perched atop the hill, its spires and chimneys black against the snow-veiled sky. Ooh, I love manors. Can I live in like a little castle like this? That's so cute. The sight swallows your doubts. The shortcut was real. You finally reach the end of your journey. Red Hart Manor greets you, not with silence, but with warmth. The moment you step inside, a wave of golden light and heat envelops you. The grand hall is lavishly lit and perfectly heated, chasing off the bite of the forest cold that still clings to your sleeves. Compared to the desolate hours spent amongst the snow-choked trees, this place feels like a hidden sanctuary carved out in winter's jaws. That was kind of hard to say, but it kind of ate down, I can't even lie. I'm definitely going to have to cut this recording in half because we've been here for a minute, but I'm so entertained. Compared to the desolate... Okay. You can almost feel your shoulders drop, the tension melting from your spine. No wonder Red Heart draws visitors in every season. Who wouldn't want to seek refuge in such opulence? Opulence? Of course, for a manor this size, such elegance must come with an exorbitant cost. By judging of the army of servants lining the hall, you doubt the owners are concerned with such trivialities. Oscar, by contrast, doesn't even pause to take it in. With the kind of practiced ease only someone raised in excess could manage, he shrugs off his heavy coat and tosses it without looking into the waiting arms of a nearby servant. Ew, I hate that. I hate that. He's a turd. Can we cancel him, guys? I'm already ready to. What kind of turd just throws his stuff on the freaking floor when someone's there to grab it? What freaking ever. Oh, there's my old keyboard. He's such a turd. Okay. Then, with his usual feline glance, Grace, he makes his way towards a woman you recognize, Red Heart's housekeeper, a sharp-featured, scornful-looking matron. Congratulations, Chase. You caught it mid-air. You must have been practicing while I was away. We're terribly late, aren't we, my dear? Is everything in order? I don't even know if I like them together. I think I would just be pissed all the time. You don't need to ask whether his endearment is reserved solely for you. The housekeeper's stoic expression makes it perfectly clear. Still, you think you catch a hint of warmth in her voice, or perhaps you only wish to. All is well, my lord. Hey, Edgar, stop fiddling with my rifle. The only reason you're not a better hunter than me is because I'm simply the better hunter. I'm sure you got some tricks up your sleeve. While Edgar grumbles and hands the weapon over to a waiting footman, your fiancé redirects his attention to the housekeeper. So tell me, darling, how's the old woman? The mention of an old woman in the housekeeper's face threatens to tighten, but she remains herself, practiced Grace. Can't help but admire her loyalty to the weekend mistress. Hoping to hear something of Lady Diana's condition, you begin to step forward, only to have your view suddenly blocked by what must be the largest man you've ever seen. A footman, judging by the uniform. Fortunately, there's no reason to panic. He hasn't come for you, but to carry away Rudolph, still unconscious, who's being half dragged by your coachman and one of Auster's coaching companions. Your gaze lingers on the young servant, still slumped and motionless. Pity coils tight in your chest, followed swiftly by curiosity. He needs to see a doctor without delay. There's no visible injury, but we can't know what happened in the forest. He may have struck his head or eaten something poisonous. Though the hulking servant appears to be listening, he offers no response. You aren't entirely sure if he understood you. You're just about to speak again when Oscar cuts in, answering on his behalf. Stop alarming him with all these orders, darling. Red Heart has its own doctor. Though honestly, I can't say he's done much beyond handling anti-acids to my guess. Still, thanks to your boy, we'll get to put his skills to the test. Despite Oscar's dismissive tone, the knowledge that there's a physician on the premises brings a flicker of relief. As the massive servant lifts Rudolph onto his back, it dawns on you that he doesn't respond to your voice, or any voice at all. He acts solely on orders already given. He must be both deaf and mute. You don't know how things are typically run at the Red Hearts, but you can't help finding this rather unusual arrangement. Turning your thoughts away from the unsettling man, you look towards your coachman. Kens, please do not leave Rudolph's side, not even for a minute. Oh, we're saying it. If he awakes, inform me at once. Of course, my lady, you needn't worry about him. As the coachman hurries off between the hulking servant, vanishing quickly from view, your gaze inevitably drifts to the corner where Oscar stands and meets his. You try to remain composed, wondering how he'll react to a gesture that so clearly betrays your lack of trust. Yet, to your surprise, your fiancé chooses to ignore it entirely and simply smiles. Come here, darling. How's my poor housekeeper supposed to serve this many people if she's not even aware of who's coming and going? Have you ever seen this uninvited guest before, Demona? In contrast to Oscar's mocking tone, the housekeeper dips her head respectfully as you approach. I had the chance to see her from afar at the ball last summer, when your engagement was first announced, my lord. We shall do everything in our power to make your stay as pleasant as possible, my lady. I have no doubt. Thank you. You're not sure whether your words were even heard. Oscar's too busy laughing at himself. Demona, what a sharp memory you have. When I found her in the middle of the forest, I couldn't even remember her name, so I spent the entire ride calling her darling. You hesitate. The eyes and ears of every servant and every member of the hunting party are turned towards you. Whether you respond and put him in his place becomes a question in itself. You remembered my butler's name perfectly. Oscar falters for just a moment, and you wonder if you've gone too far. Gone too far? Pookie, we haven't gone far enough. I will scream in that man's face. But then suddenly his laugh echoes off the high stone walls of the manor. You wait, patient and stone-faced, as strange looks pass between those around you. When he finally quiets, Oscar leans in close and lowers his voice to a conspiratorial murmur. The thought that I might be jealous must be endlessly amusing to you. Tristan is so commanding, so unshakably composed, that you often forget he is, like the others, a servant. A cold shiver creeps along your spine, but you don't back down. You're the one who confused him with Rudolph. Oscar's eyes glint with something strange, unreadable. His voice is low, quiet as a thread, as he straightens up again. Because there is no difference between the two. You suspect he means more than just their shared rank. But whatever he's implying, now, is not the time nor the place to challenge him in front of everyone. Isn't it, though? A short silence settles between you, broken only by Oscar's sudden command echoing sharply across the hall, his tone unmistakably authoritative this time. Why haven't the kills been taken into the kitchen yet? Why are Edgar still fiddling with my rifles? Am I feeding a village worth of people here for nothing? For the first time in a long while, you felt it, his pheromones, faint but unmistakably present, stirring in the air like an unseen fog. What do you mean, pheromones? I thought only women had pheromones. Isn't that like a mating thing with like animals? I'm just so confused and I'm slightly uncomfortable. Your heart lurches before you even realize what's happening. They're not overwhelming, but they're far from ineffective. The entire hall seems to stir at once, spurred into motion, while the people around you obey blindly, blissfully unaware of the influence clouding their heads. You know better. Unfortunately, that doesn't make you immune. No matter how much you reason with yourself, something primal rises inside you, a murmur of submission, of guilt, a trembling impulse to appease him you've displeased. And worse, he happens to be fiancé. As a person of your standing, you're expected to resist all such signals, even his. Unfortunately, your training kicks in before instinct can win. Manage to turn away, calm and composed, and face the housekeeper as though nothing had happened. The journey has exhausted me. Could you show me a room where I can rest? Of course, my lady. I've had a guest room in the west wing prepared for you. The fire has just been lit. If you wish, I can personally escort you there. You offer the stern woman a graceful smile, nodding in agreement. And in that moment, you're certain she knew about the dinner invitation. She must have prepared for your arrival in advance. As you begin ascending the stairs alongside the housekeeper, your fiancé's booming voice rings out behind you, catching up with startling ease. The East Wing room. I want her placed in the room in the East Wing. The housekeeper eyes narrow, in visible disapproval at the change, but she doesn't dare to object. From your place on the steps, you can't see Oscar's expression, but his voice dripping with mockery reaches you all the same. I wouldn't want my beloved future spouse deprived of her usual silence. You know how the West Wing's become indistinguishable from the school dormitory these days. You know the West Wing, in addition to the main building, is filled with newer, more comfortable rooms. The East Wing, by contrast, is older. Of course, having lived in one of the oldest manors in the region yourself, that's hardly something you'd complain about. Still, you can't help but suspect that this sudden change is Oscar's attempt at some subtle punishment. There's no question in your mind that his motives lie somewhere far from genuine concern of your comfort. I agree. Regardless, you can neither read his mind nor openly oppose him. So in silence you follow the housekeeper deeper into the manor. When you arrive to the room where you'll be spending the night, you see Red Heart's sense of opulence continues unabated here as well. The bed linens, curtains, wardrobes, everything in the room has been chosen with unmistakable sense of care and expense. Yet despite their pristine condition, nothing quite manages to conceal how old they truly are. Do you know whose room this used to belong to? The housekeeper's expression remains composed and solemn as ever when she replies, I don't believe so, my lady. In all the time I've served the manor I've never seen it signed to anyone in particular. Only you glance up at her, attentive now to the pause in her speech. I do know that Lord Oyston stayed in here from a time before marrying Lady Diana, my lady. If the room does not please you, I can inform the lord of your wish to change it. I'm sure he would not object. I'm sure he would. I'm quite positive he would, actually. It's clear someone from higher up, clearly not Oscar, has instructed her to treat you with the utmost care. Still, for a single night, there is no need to be overly particular. No, the room is lovely, thank you. I'll send someone at once to see your needs, my lady. In the meantime, please make yourself comfortable. Once you're alone, the warm flickering glow of the fireplace fills the room with a soft crimson light as you continue examining the furnishings. But nothing particular stands out. Perhaps the room once belonged to a previous master of the Red Heart, lavishly furnished and then quietly forgotten by the new ones. Oscar's father might have chosen it to stay in, just out of convenience. In any case, you're deeply grateful to be spending the night here rather than in the cold, shadowed woods outside. Before long, the maid sent by the housekeeper arrives, assisting you with your bath without requiring you to step out of your room. The warmth of the water loosens your muscles, leaving your whole body draped in sweet lethargy. For a long and before long you find yourself in the unfamiliarity of the room strange at all. By the time a gentle knock on the door stirs you back awake, you almost forgotten where you were. You sit up straighter in the armchair and bid the maid to enter. You're expected in the dining room for dinner, my lady. Your gaze drifts back to the clock above the fireplace, confirming your sense that an hour is unusually late. Isn't it a bit late for dinner? Here at Red Heart, dinner is always served at this time, my lady. Sometimes the meals last until midnight. Oh, do y'all wake up late or something? You gotta. There's no way you're up and about early. Is that so? Meals I've attended usually started and ended earlier. But recalling that your last visit to the Red Heart was before first snow had fallen makes you question the reliability of your own memories. Why was that so hard to say? Oh, never mind. I don't think I could eat anything at this hour. I'm afraid I will have to miss dinner. In truth, your decisions had less to do with your appetite and more to do with the desire to avoid encountering Oscar and his pheromones again tonight. Whether intentional or not, you know that spending time around him carries risks for someone like you. especially when he's arrogant, careless, and insufferably self-assured as Oscar. The maid respectfully nods and leaves the room, only to return a short while later with a small serving cart. Then she quietly withdraws once more. You find an assortment of delicate sandwiches, buttery, savory scones, thinly sliced cold meats, dried fruits, and a steaming bowl of soup waiting for you. You would only tend to nibble a little, but by the time you realized it, you've eaten nearly everything, finally understanding how hungry you've truly been. Not once during the journey had it even crossed your mind to reach for anything in the food basket, so consumed by stress. Now, full and warm, it felt like you could finally give into the day's exhaustion and sleep through the night. Oh no. But it didn't take long for you to realize you were wrong. Despite how much time has passed since you slipped into bed, you find yourself staring up at the arms of the chandelier ceiling. If this keeps up, sleeplessness may soon be a permanent affliction. Still, rather than dwell on that, you try to focus on other solutions, at least for now. At last you remembered the books you left in the carriage, especially the one on necromancy, which you've been meaning to read for quite a while now. Girl, seems unlikely that you'll find a better opportunity than this. Hoping the maid assigned to you is still awake, you reach for the bell beside your bed and give it a ring. Fortunately, she arrives just moments later. Though the hour is undeniably late, she responds with such calm composure that you find yourself wondering about the rhythms of the Red Heart's nightly routine. Though, of course, you wouldn't dare ask her aloud. Has there been any news about Rudolph? I mean, the unconscious man I brought with me. I was told the doctor is still with him, my lady, but there have been no updates yet. He's still examining him. Although Rudolph's lingering state of unconsciousness stirs a knot of unease in your stomach, there's little you can do besides wait for the doctor's report. Thank you. Before you go, could you please have my books brought in from the carriage? Of course, my lady. Once again, alone, your gaze drifts towards the window. You haven't touched the heavy curtain since you arrived, but the distant howling of wolves carried faintly through the thick stone walls draws you closer. Unlike your manor, Red Heart sits atop a hill, setting apart from the edge of the woods. You're quietly, gracefully, that the wild cries don't reach here with the same intensity. You part the curtains, hoping Tristan has already arranged a deal with the hunters to address the problem. But the wolves vanish from your thoughts the moment you see what lies behind the glass. The lake, directly in front of you, still and silent. Moonlight drapes across its surface, turning the water into a sheet of silver. So beautiful and serene, especially compared to the dark forest surrounding it, that if only for a moment you could forget that it swallowed your whole family whole and left you behind to bear the silence. I feel like he did that on purpose. But you can't forget. You never will. You were never even allowed to say proper goodbye, never permitted to see the frozen bodies of your mother and father dragged up from its depths. All you had were the remainings belonging to them, and the memory of your mother's missing wedding ring. Must have slipped from her finger as she clung to your father, to life. That ring, the magnificent one she never took off. Could it still lie at the bottom of the gleaming lake, hidden in the cold dark? Or had the whispering guttural voice you heard from the burial been telling the truth? The thought poisons your mind and leaves you dizzy. Sorry, did not mean to hit my mic. I feel like he 100% did that on purpose and is trying to make her suffer. Because why would you sit her right in front of, like, her room right in front of the lake where her parents literally died? Which makes me dislike him even more. You try to remember what the doctor told you, repeating it to yourself like a mantra. I mustn't think about it. I mustn't think about it. I should think of something else. For instance, what does that painting mean? Just then, you hear a knock at the door. You pull the curtain shut with one last effort, blocking the moonlight entirely before calling out. Still, the realization doesn't leave you. Oscar chose this room for you. This room, with a view of that lake. Whether by thoughtlessness or cruelty, he's proven yet again just how little he considers your feelings. When the maid steps into the room, she's unaware of the storm in your chest. The strange concern on her face and slight worry in her raised eyes tells you something is amiss. My lady, I'm afraid there's been a mistake. They've already taken your books to the library. You continue staring at her, not quite understanding what's so concerning about that. Thankfully, she doesn't leave you in suspense. I'm not allowed to retrieve your books from there, my lady. No one except for the housekeeper is permitted to enter the library, and the housekeeper is currently with Lady Diana. I'm not authorized to disturb her in that condition. Please forgive my incompetence. You still don't believe the situation warrants that kind of dread that's making the poor girl squirm in front of you. You never thought you'd miss your own maid's Daisy's complete lack of delicate concerns. In that case, I'll go fetch the books from the library myself. The startled look that flashes in the maid's eyes gives you pause. Am I forbidden from entering the library? The word forbidden sends another wave of panic across her face, making it clear that Red Heart holds such restrictions in a very high regard. You can't help but think how much Tristan would enjoy that. No, my lady, I wasn't told anything like that. I don't believe there's any restrictions applied to you. Good. Then the matter is settled. You may rest. I don't think I'll be needing anything else tonight. You reach for your robe, preparing to step outside, when the maid who's been watching you silently suddenly speaks up. If you'd like, I can escort you to the library. I'd appreciate that. Okay, this maid's super cutesy, and I love her, and she's very Pookie Bear. Um, I kind of like her more than I like our maid, Daisy. Daisy's just so worried about everything all the time. She's like, and just don't listen. Hold on. What is that say? We can save. Okay, we're still recording. Cool. Cool. Oh, I'm so tired. How long have we been recording? 2 hours? No wonder I'm tired. Okay. Okay. After all, you wouldn't even know where to begin looking for the entrance of the library in your fiancé's manor, which you've only visited a few times. Moving through the dim corridors lit by only the candlelight in the maid's hands, a chilling silence settles around you. Thankfully, it's pierced now and again by the distant bursts of laughter, conversation, and uninterrupted music from another corridor, enough to assure you that you're still within the walls of Red Heart. At last, after navigating through several identical halls and climbing up and down more stairs than you'd care to count, the maid stops in front of a large door. This is it, my lady. Unfortunately, even being here is considered improper for someone like me, so I need to take my leave. Would you like me to wait at the top of the stairs? Noticing the faint glow leaking through the slightly ajar door, realizing someone's inside, you find your confidence again and turn to her. That won't be necessary. Just tell me how to get back to my room. She does as you ask and then disappears down the hall in quick steps. You narrow your eyes, trying to make out who's inside before knocking. You must have attended enough of Oscar's gatherings to be sure he keeps company with at least a few well-mannered friends. And if someone here prefers books over wine and music, perhaps you found a decent conversation partner. But as you ease the door open a little further, the figure seated in the armchair by the fire comes into full view, and two surprising facts greet you at once. It's going to be him, isn't it? First, the person is entirely engrossed in the very book you came here for, the latest release of the notorious necromancer everyone's talking about. And second, unfortunately, that person is Oscar. Dang it! I guess we're gonna go in the library. You can't quite stomach the thought of turning back just because Oscar's inside, but storming in as though nothing's happened and simply reclaiming your book from him doesn't seem possible either. By the time you realize your hesitation at the door has lasted too long, it's already too late to retreat. Darling, if you've had your fill of admiring me from a distance, why not try to enjoy the view up close? Oh, shut up, Oscar. He speaks without lifting his eyes from the book, a slight smirk curling on his lips, which is probably for the best. He doesn't seem flustered, embarrassed. Look on your face in that moment. Knowing that turning tail now would only seem more foolish, you step into the library with reluctant resignation. Contrary to the eerie images painted by your maid's words, the library isn't nearly as foreboding as you imagined. The shelves lining the walls hold books that seem worth a small fortune, likely the reason no servants are allowed in. You must sigh in relief as you realize Oscar's pheromones, which had permeated the hall earlier, have now faded to a more bearable trace. Keeping a safe distance between you two, you finally speak. I only came here for my books, especially the one that you are holding. Oscar's eyes lift from the pages slowly. Instead of mockery you expected, his expression carries surprisingly weariness and almost sincerity. At this hour? Unless you're planning to share your bed with a corpse tonight, I doubt you'll need anything written in this book. You hold his gaze, schooling your features into a neutral calm. There's nothing like that in the book. Are you calling me a liar? And how would you even know what's in here? You haven't read it at all. You can even tell, even in his fatigue, Oscar has no intention of backing down from this game. And how would you know I haven't? With a flick of his wrist, he lifts the book effortlessly into a palm and brings it close to his face. You watch as he breathes in deeply from the open page, his eyes closing for a moment. It's easy. These pages don't carry any trace of you. You flush hotly as you realize what he means. Your pheromones. Even though you're engaged, set to marry soon, it still feels wildly inappropriate for him to speak so openly about it. The fact that you're alone together only worsens the situation. Your eyes dart to the door, suddenly aware that what you have been sure was left open is now somehow shut. Unlike you, Oscar seems entirely unbothered. When he opens his eyes again, his gaze is narrow, intent, and disturbingly pleased. Even for such a feeble little, I can sense them. Sweet, tense, but undeniably alluring. Come here, Kenzie. He's freaking me out. He's freaking me out right now. Though his tone carries the weight of command, it brushes your ears, the softest, most delicious sound you've ever heard. Before you even register it, your feet are moving. You're not without will, but somehow you've already been persuaded. The atmosphere of the library shifts completely, the air becoming warmer, heavier, and infused with something intoxicating, a metallically yet rich aroma. By the time you've reached the space before his armchair, Oscar still hasn't moved. He only watches you half-lidded, sharp, accessing. In the firelight, his hair gleams like the purest copper, and his lips look like ripe fruit, full and flushed. The way your fingers itch to reach for his hair, to take those lips, feels so natural, so easy, almost inevitable. Here's your book, my dear. You'd nearly forgotten why you even came here in the first place. So when he extends the book towards you, you hesitate, unsure how to react. Or should I escort you back to your room and read these fairy tales myself? Though the offer feels dangerously tempting, your answer comes with sharpness that even surprises you. No. Your fiance flinches, just slightly, and then his lips stretch into a wide grin, effortless and mocking. I was only teasing, darling. I have no intention of wasting my night playing nanny for you, unless you've got something tempting to offer in return. There's a half buttered scone left in my room. I love her. Oscar lets out a low, amused chuckle that, even for a brief moment, manages to pull at your focus. How generous of you, my sweet. A beat of silence settles between you. What? Sensing the moment's end, you reach for the book, only for Oscar to yank it back before you can touch it. Oh! You're left with your hand suspended in air as he catches your wrist, swift and deliberate. You barely manage to stop yourself from stumbling onto him, catching the sides of his chair at the last second. But even that can't stop the space between your faces from narrowing. You feel your breath scatter across his lips, close enough to taste the heat radiating off of him. And you're already far too provoked to pretend that you don't want more. Oh, goodness! Y'all are some little freaks. Trying to kiss? Before marriage? How dare you? Until your eyes lift from his mouth and meet his gaze. In that instant, everything warm inside you turns cold. Because you never seen such a frigid, razor-sharp expression in those firelit blue eyes. Do you see now, Kins? You can only resist me if I allow it. It's only now that you become fully aware of the pheromones that have saturated the room. Unlike the fate command he used earlier in the hall to direct the servants, these are thick, oppressive, and utterly overwhelming. You've never been subjected to anything like this before, and every sense feels scrambled. You vile, shameless, complicitable creature! How dare you? Okay. Get him, girl. Even though he knows full well that such a thing is a grave taboo in your society, Oscar's expression doesn't shift an inch. All is fair in love and war, darling. And believe me, love is the last thing you'll find at Red Heart. The sooner you understand who you're dealing with, the better it'll be for you. Let me go. You struggle with all your strength, but it's useless. Your fiancé tightens his grip on your wrist instead of releasing you. You're so stuck in the past you can't even see what's right in front of you. It's maddening how weak you are, and yet so oblivious. You should be far too old to still believe in every fairy tale you read. You feel something snap inside of you. It's too much. He's such a turd. He kind of gets on my nerves. Either they're going to have like an enemies to lovers slow burn, or he's just going to kind of suck and be a turd, or she's going to like fall in love with her butler. I prefer the last option. Your voice erupts with a fury you've held back, echoing against the library walls. I said, let me go. Okay. Sorry, I had to pull out the let me go. You catch the flicker in his lashes, the momentary falter in his composure. As you wish. And just like that, you're free. Without sparing him even a glance, you bolt from the library. As you try to navigate Red Heart's dim corridors back to your room, rage gives way to something far worse. Regret. Normally, Oscar's words wouldn't have shocked or angered you so much. After all, even before your engagement, you knew what a bond between them entailed. But something about tonight, about him, feels different. You can't shake the thought that Oscar meant to go beyond the boundaries society deems acceptable, especially when his own mother was famous for keeping her in a near constant haze of dominant pheromones until he became more dependent than devoted. Still, no matter. You don't want to believe that the Oscar you've known since childhood, that bright, cheerful boy who used to pull you into games from your quiet corner, could turn into somebody like that. Maybe it was your mistake to think that he was anything like his mother. And yet somehow, though you're sure you've gotten lost along the way, you find your room again. The first thing you do is retrieve a small bottle from the handbag you never part with. Without hesitation, you tip back the bitter medicine, drinking down half the vial. Your face contorts at the taste, but at least now you feel somewhat safer, less vulnerable to the people around you. In any case, a sleepless night lies ahead. Okay, we survived. And that is the end. That's the end? What do you mean? So, what do I think of the game? I just played it all in one go. Well, it's just the demo. Um, it's interesting. I thought like the alpha, omega, beta, whatever things was like a werewolf thing. Is that what it is? Because I feel like that's like what it is, like a wolf thing. But then she's like, I don't like the wolves in the forest. And then they're talking about pheromones, which is 100% a wolf thing and an animal thing. And so I'm really confused and I feel confusion. But I like the story. I died a bunch of times, but I like the story. I feel like it's fun. I wonder what would happen if we decided to go back to the manor. I don't know. But I'm gonna see if the rest of the game is out, and if it is, I will play it because I'm fascinated of what's going on with her. Okay, why she's seeing stuff all the time, and then who's she gonna end up with? Is it gonna be enemies to lovers? Slow burn? Is it gonna be a I'm just gonna call her Duchess, a Duchess and her servant, or is it gonna be her stuck with an oppressive man? Which is like the boo boo. Like, no. No. But actually, let's check it out. Okay. I don't think it is out yet. We can look it up. So, come with me. I was playing Yonders. Winter. Oh, wow, I cannot type. Winter. Okay. Oh, Tristan's so fine. Hmm. So this is the demo. Oh. Hmm. It does not tell me if it is out yet. What is an omega verse? Okay. A fanfic trope with biological hierarchies. Okay. Oh. Um. Okay. Wait. When was this? When did this happen? Um. What? Okay. I'm sorry. We have to go back. I want to see what happens if we turn back and we don't keep going. Cause I figured it would just be, like we die or something. Let's go to load. Where is that? Here. Oh, I haven't saved. Well, here. Okay. Hold on, guys. Okay. It would be best for us to turn back. He dips his head in acknowledgement and since that he too is relieved. You can't blame him. The journey's been nothing more than a treacherous gamble. Neither of you can predict what lies ahead. As you wish, my lady. I will inform the coachman at once. The door shuts, sealing you once more in a confined warmth of the carriage. The enclosed space provides a simple comfort, if only temporary. Thought tugs your mind. You never sent word to your fiancé about missing dinner. Yet you easily push aside the concern, knowing you've made the right decision. The shadow in the forest had undeniably influenced your choice. Whether it was a poacher, a predator, or merely a trick of the light. The carriage jolts and the horses are urged to turn back. The motion is rough, though brief, and you hardly pay it any mind. You just want to go home. Daisy would undoubtedly be disappointed in your early return, and she'll make it known for quite some time. But the thought of home fills you with quiet relief. A flicker of impulses urges you to part the curtains once more. Then a figure, a stark silhouette against the pristine snow. It did not vanish this time. It lingered. Any doubt of its reality dissolves in your heart as it hammers in your chest. Then it moves in a horrifying instant, charging towards you. Your lips part in terror, but no sound escapes. It's too late to cry out, too late to warn the others. The distance between you disappears like a blink of an eye. A monstrous, guttural growl fills your ears. This isn't the first time you've heard it. You remember the sound and the terror that came with it. Darkness, damp, suffocating, cold. But where? When? The memory is too fragmented to place. You tightly shut your eyes to avoid witnessing this dreadful moment. The carriage shudders violently under unnatural force, and your body's thrown against the other side of the carriage as the horses scream in fear. The coachman curses ceaselessly. No amount of skill can he steady the panicked beasts. A second impact. Wood splinters, and this time the sharp crack of gunfire is followed by something far more sickening, the brittle snap of a body colliding with the carriage's frame. For you understand what's happening. Pain blooms through your limbs, and then nothing. You wake to a world that offers no answers. Oh, we're back home. Unlike the others, you somehow survive. But how? The doctors determined from your injuries, the fractures, the scars, that it must have been an animal attack. The horses spooked beyond control and must have lost their footing on the icy roads, leading to the catastrophe. You struggled to believe them, because you saw it. You know it was more than a wild animal. Yet few were willing to listen. Even Tristan, who found you by chance while traveling the same road back to town, doesn't entertain your suspicions. But that is not your only problem. The doctors are certain you will never walk again. A single foolish decision has cost 2 innocent lives in your legs. No amount of regret will change that. But at least this time, you know what must be done. During his last visit to the estate, you tell your fiancé the truth. The marriage will only be a burden to you, Oscar. I have no right to ask this of you. You are free of your promise. His smile is light, but gaze is razor sharp. How thoughtful of you, my dear. I came here to tell you the very same thing. Isn't it wonderful how we can agree without speaking? At the very least, I will always remember you fondly, and every time I hunt I shall send you the finest catch, the most exquisite, the most untouched. His gaze settles deliberately on your neck, on the scar left by the predator. Every time you recall it, your skin prickles. It's a miracle you survived that creature in this state, if you truly survived it at all. Oh, I forgot you can't cancel the wedding. Why not? Why not? Okay, that was every route, I think. So, this is the end of the winter wedding. I don't think anything more than the demo is out. It is out in English, Spanish, and I think Italian. But it seems interesting. If you like Omegaverse stuff, I'm sure you would like it. I don't know how I feel about Omegaverse. I think it's kind of weird, and I think it would. It's like pretty horny. So. But I hope you enjoyed me playing, even though I could barely speak. My throat is dying. I need water. I ran out. But I hope you enjoyed this. I really do wonder what happens, so I will probably buy this game when it fully comes out, just because it is so fascinating and I'm really interested to see what happened. So, y'all have a great day. Goodbye. Hmm. Ah, wait, wait. Oh, and it's gone. The kid in the back. The back. The back, the back, the back. Honestly, I don't want to play Yonder Sim either.